So at this point, I'm guessing many of you have seen dozens upon dozens of Breath of the Wild 2 theories ever since we got the new teaser trailer from E3 2021. Well, I wanted to double down on the theory that I had in my previous reaction video to that trailer, where I think the Sky Islands in function might be similar to a game you may not expect. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ryan here from Game Essays. If you enjoy Zelda content, including speculation for Breath of the Wild 2 and Zelda game reviews and rankings, I highly encourage you to both like and subscribe. We are super close to that 500 subscriber milestone, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys did so and supported the channel. Anyway, getting into today's theory around the flying islands that we have seen in the new teaser trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, I am speculating that these islands will actually be the dungeons of the game. And I alluded to this in my previous video, but I'm doubling down on it today. I think what we see in the trailer collectively is one dungeon. Now, there may be other floating islands that I think will have a different look to them, but this is just what I'm going with. And again, there's not enough evidence to prove this in any way in the teaser trailer. This is just the bold prediction I'm making. I'm not making any type of lore prediction about this. I'm really purely looking at the gameplay function of these islands. And I'll get into a couple reasons why I think these will be maybe the concept for what we have for dungeons in the game. One of the reasons I think this could be it is, you know, you look at Hyrule Castle was really the only indoor dungeon that we had in that was like a building. I know we had the Sheikah shrines underground that, yes, they were kind of buildings, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, it was, as far as a traditional dungeon goes, Hyrule Castle was really the closest we had because the divine beasts were just something different altogether. I think the way that Breath of the Wild kind of functions in the sequel would is it lends itself more to very open areas, and I think that a collection of islands will make for a more interesting dungeon. And this is going to be sort of Mario Galaxy style, where levels in Mario Galaxy, you would visit a number of small planets and kind of bounce around until you got to the end, basically, and you would take some little warp thing that would fly you to the next planet. And I think this is going to work similar with Breath of the Wild 2. We can see in some of the shots that almost every single island we see has this little gateway that is near the edge of each of these islands. There's some sort of structure that is always at the end, not necessarily of all of them. I think in one shot we can see when Link's coming down from the clouds, that one is possibly within like jumping distance. He could make it to another piece of the island, but a lot of these are of varying elevation and height. I mean, that's just, you know what I'm saying, of varying elevation. Some of them, obviously, you could float down with your paraglider, maybe if you start at the top and work your way down. But if you needed to backtrack, maybe these gates are a way of you to do that kind of upward floating thing, how Link comes through he basically phases through the island to come to the top of the Sky Island. But what I expect is that these islands will have either enemies to fight or puzzles to solve, and then you'll somehow you'll bounce to the next island and the next island and the next island. Because I know people were looking at the one shot of Link flying towards a set of these islands, and you can see that building over to the right, and people were speculating, oh, maybe this is a dungeon. But the building itself doesn't really look, it just looks very, I don't know, it doesn't look like it has a lot of depth to it, right? It just looks like a very tall structure, but it doesn't go very long, right? So maybe this is an area where you would fight the boss, but I just feel like these collections of land masses, this just seems very small, like that you could explore it in you could explore in a pretty short amount of time is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like it lends itself more to a dungeon scenario where, like I said, you could explore these areas within maybe 30 minutes to an hour and then that area is complete. We can also, again, look, the aesthetic for this collection. We only see this one sort of collection of islands, I guess, from different angles. There could be more. You know, what we're seeing when Link's skydiving, we don't necessarily know if this is the same collection of islands, but I'm speculating that it is. But they all have that same golden looking trees and the golden grass. So I think, as I said, this would all encompass one dungeon. And if there is another flying set of islands in the sky, then maybe it will have a different aesthetic. Maybe there won't be trees. Maybe there'll be red trees or something like that. It will look totally different. That's what I'm thinking. I would just be surprised if literally every floating island looked exactly the same. I think this would be a little boring if this just didn't encompass one dungeon. So that's what I'm going with. As I said, the structures of all these islands, they just look a little bit too similar, in my opinion, to just be this random area that you explore. It feels like all these collections, they just have this consistent theme that goes with it. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, there's not a ton of evidence to go on, just from what we've seen between all the architecture between these islands all being the same and having these gates. It just feels like it all goes together in one consistent thing that I speculate will be a dungeon. So make sure to let me know what you guys think. Super quick theory, but this is what I'm going with. This is the hunch that I have. Like I said, I have no way to prove this. This is just my gut feeling. But be sure to let me know what your thoughts are on this, and let me know any other theories that you've seen from the Breath of the Wild 2 teaser trailer that interests you, and what theories you have of your own. I'd love to hear it. And until next time, see you guys later.